Thank you, Bryce. Welcome, everybody, to this Sunday morning service here at Salt Lake Christian Church. The story I have for you all this morning is the story of Philemon and Philemon and Onesimus. And so at this time, Paul was imprisoned, and while he was imprisoned, he was still doing his work in his ministry of spreading the gospel and encouraging the churches around him that he could, and writing many letters. And one letter that he wrote while he was in prison was the letter to Philemon. Now this letter is unique for many of Paul's letters because this letter wasn't to a church but to a specific person named Philemon. And Paul wrote this letter basically to convince Philemon to forgive and accept Onesimus back into his household. You see, while Paul was on his missionary journeys, he met this man Onesimus, and Paul, through his spreading of the gospel, led Onesimus to Christ. And as he got to know Onesimus, he found out that he was a runaway slave, and not just anyone's runaway slave, but Philemon's runaway slave. And Philemon was a friend of Paul's. He was a leader in his local church and a wealthy man, so he most likely supported the church as well. And so Paul, knowing Philemon and now building this relationship that he had with Onesimus, sent Onesimus back to Philemon, despite Onesimus having every reason not to go back there. Paul sends Onesimus back with the letter to Philemon, where Paul basically begs Philemon to recognize Onesimus not as a runaway slave deserving of punishment, but to forgive him and receive him as a brother in Christ. Philemon, not only did he lose his servant, his slave, when Onesimus ran away, but after God worked through Paul and saved Onesimus, Philemon didn't just gain back some runaway slave, but he gained back a brother in Christ. And this story is a beautiful example of the gospel, of how Christ forgives us while we are sinners and receives us into his household, not just as filthy, rotten sinners, but as his brothers, as children of God. So thank you. Let's bring the music up.